All right. Welcome everyone to the Power of Podcast Week 1, or should I say Week 0, I guess? I don't know. Welcome everybody to the Power of Podcast, where we talk about all things Big Brother, especially in hype for Big Brother 22 All-Stars. Of course, you know me. I am Alex Jackson, aka the Disney Nerd, aka a Big Brother superfan, and I'm going to be here bringing a lot of tea spilled on this season with all these lovely people that we have here. So I'll start with Jack first. Jack, you can introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Jack Walsh. Soon to be college freshman, mostly known for being either someone who can't add, count, read, basically anything above a first grade level of anything. Also not knowing when to just shut the fuck up. So,
Don't forget directions.
directions too, yeah. Also, he, him, cis male, and also flamboyantly gay. Might as well mention that since diversity. Who knows?
No one would have guessed Jack. All right, Blake.
What? Who's it?
Blake, go ahead.
Well, hello. My name is Blake Murphy. I am 22 years old. From Farmville, Iowa. Corn. And I am also a Big Brother super fan, as most of us here are. Major Life Feeders, Big Brother nerds, Survivor geek, all of the above. Also flamboyantly gay, and a ginger. So we love to add a little spice up in the mix, and I hope I can be that little spice.
All right, Grace, go ahead.
Hello, y'all. What is poppin'? My name is Grace. I'm 20 years old, and I'm from the Atlanta, Georgia area, and I go to the University of Georgia, where I'm double majoring in animal science and psychology. I'm a huge Big Brother fan. I'm a huge Survivor fan. I'm a huge reality TV everywhere fan. Let's see what else I want to say. Let me think. Yeah, I'm so excited for this Big Brother season, and I'm dating Alex, so there's that. But I'm excited to be playing. But I'm a sweet Georgia firecracker, and I'm ready to add some sugar, spice, and a nice to this podcast. Let's get it started, shall we? I'm crazy as fuck. Just understand that, okay?
I think we got that.
And last but definitely not least, Nick.
Definitely not least. Hello, my name is Nick. I am 21 years old. I have been watching Big Brother since I was 11 years old, and it's become a family tradition for me and my family to watch it. My boyfriend is also on this podcast. They, them pronoun, trans, femme presenting, all that good stuff.
All right.
Am I now realizing that I'm the only person on here without any sort of relationship? Yes, I am.
All right, so Jack Walsh is opening up invitations. Just comment down below. Yeah. All right. So
I'd probably prefer Tinder or Grindr, but sure.
So let's just get in with talking about Big Brother All-Stars. It's been, I think this is the 15th season since our last All-Star seasons that jailed Mike Boogie has won.
Who? I don't know him.
Yeah, exactly.
We all don't.
Well, somewhere between 15th and 18th. Depending on if you count.
Pending.
All of them.
I mean, I personally don't count OTT and the Celebrity Big Brothers as Big Brother seasons, and I don't think Big Brother would cast someone from Celebrity or from OTT on an All-Star season.
I think they cast somebody from OTT. Like, I think they should have cast somebody from OTT. There are people that they definitely could have cast from OTT.
They could have, but just with the way CBS and the way Big Brother is run, I don't see Grodner wanting to do, or Robin Cass doing that.
That's
So
fair.
there have been a lot of leaks. I've heard at least about 50 names, honestly, just like small rumors to big rumors suggesting, maybe not quite 50, but 30 or 40 of the definitely. And some of these names have been confirmed since then. Some of them have not. Some of them have apparently tested positive for COVID, which was confirmed by Julie Chen Moonves earlier today. Some of them have supposedly dropped. Apparently, there was drama with Nicole Franzel, but we can get to all that later. How true are most of these rumors, guys? Like, how many of these things are actually happened?
I think that some of them obviously are like a little bit more on the lies spectrum of it, like they're a little bit fabricated, but I definitely think a lot of them, if not all of them, have some sort of truth to them. Like the Nicole rumor that you brought up, I think probably is true. Looking at the tweets that Derek put out during that day of everything happening, it seems that he was upset with Nicole and then kind of backtracked because he probably heard from somebody or like talked to somebody and was like, oh, I can't say that, so let me just step back and not talk about the situation.
See, I actually have a different opinion on the Nicole situation. I think that there's a bit of truth to the whole Nicole rumors. Do I think Nicole has the power to get CBS to drop Dan and Derek for her? No. I think that if they wanted Dan and Derek, whether they were pre-gaming or not, I think they would have done it. I think they were definitely asked too, for sure. I don't think you can do All Stars 2 without even asking Dan or Derek. However, I do feel like Nicole does not have that power. Do I believe that Nicole was not originally cast for the season and called up CBS crying? Yes, I do believe that one. However, I don't believe that she had the power to knock Dan and Derek off their
See, I disagree because I think she was cast, and I think that she found out that they were pre-gaming and went to CBS and told CBS, like, I'm not playing your game if they're going to pre-game, and I'm also going to tell everybody that they're pre-gaming, and this is going to be a big thing if you don't remove them from the game. I think that's a very big possibility that could have happened, and I think that CBS would have allowed it to happen because Big Brother is founded on being solely based on people inside the house playing a game.
I understand that, but I do think I think that if CBS and Big Brother in particular really, really wanted Dan or Derek, they would have got Dan or Derek. Like I just don't.
Oh,
If
for sure.
If it was anyone other than Dan and Derek, I would probably say that that's true. But
I don't think it was worth the headache for CBS. Like, I don't think CBS as a whole would be worth the headache because, like, when you have a program, Amazing Race is on CBS, correct?
yes,
When you have a program that also runs reality competition shows like The Amazing Race and CBS, or not CBS, The Amazing Race and Survivor, and those shows are also under the guise of like this is 100% real, and one of those types of shows is shown that like there's some sort of cheating going on, then like it loses the what is the word?
validity.
Yeah, it loses the legitimacy and validity of like all the shows because they're all ran by the same parent company.
And that's a fair assessment. I could definitely see, and I honestly I haven't thought about that aspect that Nicole Franzel could have just like called up CBS and been like, "Hey, I'm gonna expose your shit if this happens." But
And
I see. Here's the thing, though. I don't believe that the whole chat thing is necessarily true. And the reason is because after the initial video of that whole leak began on the 26th, Derek did respond in a tweet saying, "I won't lie, not happy with Nicole right now, but there was never a group chat I was involved in. My business with my friends is between us, but I will say this. There is zero truth to the rumor that Nicole had anything to do with me being not on the show." So any supporters
But I
of
think he
mine,
has to say
don't blame
that. I think he kind of has to say that.
her. He does,
I
but then there's
also-
also
Mhm.
other
I
stuff.
also think that, like, yes, if CBS wanted Dan and Derek, they would have got them. But at the same time, while Dan and Derek do bring in fans, so do people like Davon, so do people like Janelle, so do people like Danielle Donato. Like, those are names that, like, arguably bringing way more fans than Dan and Derek do.
Derek, sure. Dan, casual.
If you replace Dan with Janelle, I mean, you're basically getting that same amount of people. Or
I
even
And
arguably Dan with
feel-
Davon. People watch Big. If Davon's on a Big
I
Brother
mean-
season, people are gonna watch it.
I'm
I mean,
thinking
for
about
the older
casual.
group, yes. And I know this really doesn't factor in much, but he also streams nowadays, so maybe that would bring in some new people saying, "Oh, yes, yeah, you know that guy I streamed with like once? He's on a reality show. Like, go watch that."
And you know who
I
the
don't know
rumor
how much
mills?
that would fly.
You know who the rumor mills like were coming out that she was on right after, or not right after, but a little bit after Dan got like cut. The rumor that Dan got cut, Keisha,
Mhm.
and you know who's a big ass personality? Keisha.
You know,
But
to me about the situation, I kind of feel like I think honestly, I don't think that like Nicole necessarily got Dan and Derek cut, because I do agree with the fact that Dan and Derek are, especially Derek, are literally production pets to me. And and especially people when you have Grodner for some reason who has an obsession with the white males. She she's gonna keep wanting to put them down in the casual, and the thing is what brings in most of the ratings for the shows aren't the live feeder. Well, the live feeders are a part of it, but they're the casuals. The casuals are what takes up most of the fan population, and Dan and Derek bring in so many people, so I don't see why if Nicole doing something, why they would cut them. Honestly, I kind of feel that Dan and Derek, the way I'm kind of looking at Dan and Derek said no, especially like Derek was saying my family, it would have brought his family up and said, look, I couldn't leave my daughter or whatever. But I feel Nicole did do some type of scheming to kind of slither her way into that cast. And I think that she used both of them to try and get in there, but I don't think anything happened with it.
And no matter whether or not this whole rumor is true, either way, it doesn't seem that Dan or Derek are going to be on the cast tomorrow. And what we're talking here about today is the cast, or what we think is going to be the cast, or what we think should be the cast. Do I think Dan and Derek should be on the cast? Of course, I do.
I don't think anyone disagrees with you there. They should be on the cast. Like,
Can I-
100%.
100%. They were both really strong game players, and if this is going to be all stars, then they definitely deserve an all-star spot versus some of these people who are on here, but we'll get to this.
All right, Blake, go ahead.
Can I add one more thing about the pre-gaming situation?
Yeah.
Um,
We're going to get into the cast.
there was a strong rumor that somebody was pre-gaming the most out of this assumed cast to begin with, and that was Josh Martinez. And that's another reason why I don't necessarily believe that Dan and Derek were cut because of pre-gaming stuff, because if they were going to base that decision off of pre-gaming,
Josh.
I think Josh
But if you're
would have been cut as
Nicole
well.
F, if you're Nicole F and you know that like out of Dan, Derek, and Josh Martinez are pre-gaming, who are you gonna call production on?
That's
I don't give a fuck if Josh Martinez is in the BB All-Star house. I give a fuck if Dan and Derek are in the BB All-Star house. Two of the biggest manipulative players, arguably, to ever played Big Brother. Like Dan,
my
You know,
point
another
with
reason
this.
why I kind of don't believe the whole. I kind of don't believe the whole Nicole getting them cut thing. Is because I remember from before Big Brother 18 started. Literally, Derek coached, and there is a little pregame alliance going on with Nicole, Polly, and James.
I think my point was just saying, like, if CBS was going to choose between taking in Josh Martinez or Dan and Derek, they would clearly choose Dan and Derek to
100.
play on the season.
I'm actually not sure on that point, and it's actually something I wanted to bring up a little bit later on, but multiple people that were rumored to be part of this cast at some point before they went partying in Miami, which, what the fuck? Why would you do that?
Josh and Casey.
Yeah, exactly. They were all part of MTV's The Challenge at some point, and that was Pauly, who I think was mentioned just a couple times,
They're not bringing Paul.
Josh, Casey, Davon, Bailey, although Casey and Bailey, their relationship is rocky, to put it in simple terms. All of them were going to be together, and as such, this house is going to be a fourth of members of the challenge, and that could bring in an audience who didn't look at them before. But obviously, half that group suddenly, and we'll probably get into this later when we talk about the actual cast, not there anymore, at least on the rumored list that I have and that I trust. So
Speaking of the challenge, I'm surprised Natalie wasn't mentioned more, or like wasn't talked about more, because I feel like comparatively to, like, sorry, hate to say it, compared to like Bailey or either of those two winners, I feel like Natalie probably, to me, I would assume would be the most likely to get cast, because she's very TV friendly. She's very bubblegummy, what Big Brother usually casts. So I was just kind of surprised with that.
I'm kind of not surprised, kind of surprised. I could see it, but that wouldn't be my go-to for casting.
I just think because, like, they usually cast people, like, I think if Bailey didn't go on the challenge, she would never have been on All Stars.
Oh, I could definitely agree with that, because from what I saw, like, I don't watch the challenge, but from what I saw, like, even though she got 11th in Big Brother, the thing, she did really well on the challenge, and she came and proved herself through there. So maybe that's why BB kind of was like, let's cast Bailey, because they kind of see, not only they're bringing audience in, but at the same time, they see potential in her to do better in Big Brother now that she's competed on the challenge.
Like,
And-
I think somebody like Davon, like, would have always been, like, in the least an alternate for All Stars.
Yeah.
I think her being on the challenge just, like, boosted her to, like, oh, she's for sure on All Stars. Whereas somebody like Bailey, I don't think they would have even, like, considered for All Stars before she was on the challenge.
yeah. So speaking on that, I feel like of all people, Bailey was definitely, like, the one person that, of anyone probably on this cast, maybe other than Danielle, has the most, like, support from New Age fans. Like, the fans that come in from 16 back, like those people who joined in right there, and that includes me, but I'm not exactly on the same page there. That's where, like, Stan Twitter, all of, like, Stan culture goes right towards, and I can see why. In my opinion, I didn't get much from Bailey, but to each their own.
I'm
Good.
looking at this list, and there are some people that, like, I don't understand why they're on this game right now.
Go ahead, Blake, and I was going to segue into talking about Bailey as the first house guest.
Oh, we can go into Bailey right now, because my comment was on Bailey.
Okay, cool. So segueing into Bailey, how much of a confirmation do we have that she's on the cast? I think it's pretty clear that she's there.
Oh yeah.
One of
She
the names I've
hasn't
heard
posted anything
most.
on she hasn't posted anything on Instagram, and also Swaggy hasn't posted anything of her either.
I don't take too much into consideration whether or not people post because a lot of people will get either A, pre-recordings, or B, people to post for them on Twitter or Snapchat, Instagram.
But I think somebody like Bailey wants people to know that she's on All Stars because she's not a Danielle Donato. She's not a Janelle. She's not somebody known for. She's somebody that like is known for being on Big Brother, but she's not like those namesake people that like when you think Big Brother, you don't think Bailey. So like if I'm somebody like Bailey, I want fans to start talking about me being on Big Brother. Whereas like somebody like Janelle, I would like expect Janelle to have people post for her. Like
That's fair. That's fair. But does Bailey deserve to be considered an all-star? And in my opinion, not really. I liked her for a bit on Big Brother 20, and then to me, she kind of got she became annoying to me, honestly. But then again, I don't like Big Brother 20. And it's one of my least favorite seasons. So take with that
I'd,
with you will.
I'd be
I
more inclined
actually
to say. Go ahead.
I actually probably have a very different opinion than everybody else here on Bailey. I actually think Bailey played a pretty decent game during BB20. Her pre-jury phase of the game, she was in that perfect floater position. And floater, different than coaster. She was able to choose which side she wanted to go with because both sides kind of wanted Bailey. And she didn't really start to crumble until she got HOH and kind of ruined her own game. She got a little bit of the HOH-itis, I think they call it.
Yeah.
But I think before that HOH, she actually played a really good social game until obviously that big house fight, and then everything kind of came to a head. However, I do think that she played a really good social game, and she had the strategy behind her as well. And in that first HOH comp that they played, she came second, I believe. So she has a decent physical game. So I think coming into this, especially after she's been on the challenge, I think she could be a pretty overall, like, good player. Like, she has a good physical game, good strategic game, good social game. And I think she'll be underestimated because she didn't go too far. So I think she could actually be in a really good spot coming into All Stars.
I agree that I think she played a good game in a sense, but just when I'm thinking of the term all-star and when I'm thinking of compared to some of these other people on this cast, hell yeah, I'd rather have Bailey than like the females are pretty good. I have a big problem with the males on this cast, but
I have a big problem with one female on this cast.
I'm just saying I think that the spot could have gone to somebody else, but I'm not saying. And the other thing, I don't think that the challenge should be a consideration as to why somebody got on Big Brother All Stars. Because at the end, I get it. It's another reality TV show that has similar fan bases. I personally don't watch the challenge, but I know that a lot of Big Brother fans do. But this is Big Brother All Stars we're talking about. It's not Big Brother / the Challenge All Stars. I am excited to see her play. I think she has the ability to do something. I don't know what that is, but I'm hoping she does well. I have no ill will towards her, and I'm going to come in with kind of a clear mind about her. She's not someone that I'm bringing baggage over from another season. It's like, I didn't like her that season, so I'm gonna not like her on this season. Not how it works for me with some people.
I think
Talk about
I
Bailey.
think that like go ahead.
So I just wanted to bring up one more thing, especially with the challenge and all that being mentioned. Recently, and this may be a slight long shot, really, really recently, there was a little update to CBS All Access, and you got shows from BET, MTV, Nickelodeon, and what do
Not
you know?
bet. Not
One
bet. PET.
BET. I'm sorry, you can tell I'm definitely white, but you can see like a ton of the challenge there, and other than the fact that finally there was somewhere where you can easily watch Drag Race season All Star seasons 1, 2, and 3, because apparently that was just not a thing anywhere. It could be interesting to see if they promote that. Say, oh, Bailey, if you don't know much about Bailey, here's her season on the challenge. Or, oh, do you not know much about Davon? Here's her seasons on the challenge.
That's fair.
And
Sorry, go ahead.
that's why I'm actually surprised a little bit that and one of the names I'm going to mention later on, that's the one person where I was like, if they really needed, they can just push this extra person into the limelight because they have that room. But
With me, I feel like Bailey shouldn't have been on this season if Swaggy wasn't going to be on. If Bailey and Swaggy were on the season together, I think it makes a little bit more sense. I think Bailey being on with Swaggy makes her less of a, or Bailey not being on with Swaggy makes her less of an all-star.
But both on the challenge and Big Brother 20, we didn't get to see her play without Swaggy being there at some point. But
I think without Swaggy, she doesn't have a personality. And that's just my opinion. Without Swaggy, Bailey really doesn't have a personality. Bailey's personality in BB20 without Swaggy was yelling at Tyler.
That is a valid point, and it went the exact same way in the challenge. The
Exactly.
minute Swaggy went home, she just started yelling. And I was like, I did see the parallels between, okay, we have the exact same game going on here, except now it's an elimination-based format. And
then guess who didn't win? Both of them.
Well, hey.
Bailey.
I just want to say on her, I'm going to bring this up, especially from Big Brother. The challenge is not going to play a factor into this, but let me just say, and I actually do like here, even though I don't consider her an all-star, and she did play, I agree with Blake that she did play a good game until her HOH, but here's another reason I feel she kind of deserves some redemption in some way for Big Brother. If y'all remember, she ended up getting pregnant in the Big Brother house. And I thought about this when thinking about her, and as a woman, our hormones are crazy as fuck sometimes. And I feel that's kind of how, and that could have played a factor in why she got so emotional and why she screamed at people, especially when her and Tyler got in that fight. That she fought with him, that was the day after she found out she was pregnant. And so I think that her hormones kind of maybe could have been a factor into why she went crazy on her season and why she kind of her game just kind of went away because of that. That is like my theory for why, because she was playing a decent game, and I think that was a factor in what happened to her.
Speaking of, I think one of the only reasons she's on this season is because Casey was supposed to be on and Tyler is on. Allegedly.
All right. Well, look, if Bailey's gonna scream at people. Oh wait, sorry. What?
Sorry. Can I just add one more thing about Bailey real quick?
Go ahead.
I know there was a lot of Twitter drama yesterday. I believe it was yesterday. BB16 Christine kind of came back to life on Twitter and was kind of coming for Bailey, I guess. And I don't know if Bailey's not on the season, then she did a good job at like staying out of the drama. But I know that Swaggy C did tweet like back at Christine, kind of confronting the situation. And I also think that kind of confirms that Bailey's on, because Swaggy tweeted back at Christine
Yeah,
and Bailey
you bring
didn't.
up a good point. And Bailey didn't even react or anything to it, and it was just Swaggy that did it.
And
Mhm.
look, if Bailey's on the season without Swaggy and she's going to be screaming at people, that's great feeds. I'm here for it. Let's do it. Um, but
I
let's.
don't, like I said, I don't think she's gonna be as. I'm not sure how she was on the challenge, but I don't think she's gonna be as wild because she's not pregnant this time. So
I don't know. We'll see. Note, I do have about an hour left personally. I just got things I need to do. So if we could speed up a little bit more through these next, well, that'd be helpful. So the next person that is on a lot of people's tongues is in my opinion, I think this is the worst female on the list, Christmas Abbott. Why she? Please tell me.
I think she's there for the same reason that the Lip Sync Assassins were there on Drag Race 5. Because they were in the area and fucking available. Christmas, the only thing she did was win a foot race with a broken leg. And the only reason, no, it was a broken foot, but the only reason that happened is because Paul did that. And
I
Like-
think Christmas is on because for the same reason that they brought back oh my god, I just drew a blank. The reason Christmas is on is the same reason they brought back Caleb Reynolds for Game Changers, and it's because something went wrong in her first season that was out of her control, and they're bringing her back for like a redemption story arc.
I mean,
Which
she could
is-
not got on Jason's back.
Exactly.
and
I mean, she could actually win endurance competitions. Now she doesn't break her foot again.
I don't think she's gonna go far this season.
I don't see her going far. The only
Yeah,
real interesting thing we have with her
Is her name?
is an error. And that is she sent out a letter, whether it was pre-typed, set out at a certain date or not, so be it. But a letter went out saying she was on Big Brother 22. So probably the least interesting female we have is the only person we have confirmed. I love this. I love this so much. But
I do. Oh, sorry.
that's all we got. So
I do think that Christmas doesn't necessarily deserve her spot on the season. However, I do think that she saw the criticism she got from her first season, and I want to believe that she'll come in and try to change the game a little bit and be a different type of player. Am I excited to see her? No. Did I really need her again? No. But would I be happy if she was the one who kind of shocked us this season and came out of the woodwork and played a
No.
good game? Maybe, because I like when people shock us. You know, I like when those people who we don't expect to play the game hard play the game hard. However, looking back at her first game, I'm not entirely sure that's possible.
All right. Does anyone else have anything to say on Christmas Abbott? I think we all have very similar opinions on Christmas. None of us want her there. No one was asking for her, but she's there. So
I only feel CBS is only having her on this cast because they felt so bad that she broke her foot the first time. They're letting her come back and do it.
I think she was the 50th person they asked, and needed it.
Merry Christmas, Christmas. You got your Christmas early.
just the one thing I don't think we've mentioned yet, that we are going off the last leak that Big Brother Gossip sent out at around 3:19 today, August the 4th.
And I'm going to be adding a few names that I've heard circulating around as well, just like afterwards, just people that aren't on this list. But yeah, that is the list that I'm kind of going off of. So next up, we were talking about Davon Rogers from Big Brother 17 and 18. Did I expect Davon to be on this cast? 110%. Do I think her game is all-star worthy like her previous two games? I would say no, but All Stars is more than just game. She is amazing television. I don't think anyone can deny that. And she's amazing feeds as well. 17 was the first season I watched, and the couple weeks I got with Davon were amazing. I watched feeds on 18 as well. Davon is great feed. She's great television. So in that aspect, she's an all-star. And some people were hating on her for like, oh, she's not really an all-star. But compared to the last two people we talked about, hell yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
I mean,
I hope the
we
best
all
are rooting for her.
we all play orgs or online reality games. We all know that like for these orgs that we play, there's all stars, and we all know the way to get on all stars is to be the biggest personality, the loudest voice, the most aggressive villain, the nicest hero. There's ways to get on an all stars game without being a master manipulator, without being
Mhm.
the player of the season, without being the overarching villain, like
By being a
If you-
jerk on the totem pole.
If you could
T.
stop just like calling me out for every single All-Stars game I've ever been on, that would be really nice.
but like what I'm saying is like when if I play All Stars games, sometimes it's not because I'm the best player. Sometimes it's because I'm a loud person. I'm very loud and obnoxious, and I play very much like I am. And so like I understand, and like people have to understand that like Davon's not on Big Brother because she manipulated a whole cast like Vanessa did, like she outplayed everybody like Dan did. She's on Big Brother because she's a character. She's a personality.
Mhm.
She
Mhm. A
she
good personality at that.
and she knows it. That's the thing. Davon knows that she's a personality and plays it up, and I love that about her.
Yeah,
She knows her strengths and she plays to them.
I
Davon.
see somebody earlier said, I can't remember who said it, but somebody earlier said that they didn't think that Davon would be on if she wasn't on the challenge, which I fully disagree with, because
No, I
You
said
talk
I said
about-
I don't think that she would have been the first person considered. I think that
I
she would have
actually-
definitely been like one of the first alternates, but I don't think if she wasn't on the challenge, because like she hadn't been on in 3 seasons, and there are so many people that you could choose who are loud, obnoxious personalities. One of them won 21, not 21, 19.
I was about to say, we're not touching 21 with the 10-foot pole, except for like the good people in that season.
Yeah, all
One
two.
of them won 19, so I think that like Davon wouldn't have been at the top of the list, but I do think that she would have been considered. I think that her being on the challenge kind of just pushed her over.
I actually disagree on that, because if you talk about present day female players, I guarantee one of the main people that come to mind is Davon to almost
Oh yeah, 100%.
everybody.
The other
And
girls just I don't just especially in like especially in the most recent seasons, a lot of the females have literally been furniture.
I think Vanessa and Davon won too.
right, I think that I think Davon was going to be a lock for this season no matter what. I don't think it needed to be the challenge to get her on. She is one of the, I don't want to say most iconic players, but she is pretty self-aware in the game. She just, if she can switch up her social game a little bit to not kind of get people to distrust her too early on, I think she could be in this season for the long haul, because she has, especially after being on the challenge, she is good physically too. She won how many elimination rounds in the challenge? Spoiler alert, sorry.
Alec,
She's definitely a physical player. She's strategic, as she proved on the feed. She's entertaining, and she can get people on her side. So I think she's in a good spot for this season.
she was on 17 first, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. I think she's
So
good here too because I think she has good relationships with some people. I know her and Bailey are really good friends with each other. I know her and Janelle have talked to each other and they get along pretty well. I know she loves Keisha. So
Mhm.
like she has the relationships there, and honestly, I see her getting along with everybody on this cat. The only person I can, for some reason, I don't know why I'm feeling this, but I think her and Christmas are gonna not get along, and I think they're gonna go at it most of the time.
I hope so.
See, like the thing that like Alex said, like makes so much sense to me because like I didn't watch the feeds in 17 or 18. So like when she came back for 18, I was like, why the fuck is Davon back? Like, why the fuck is Davon back? This doesn't make sense. And I hadn't watched 17 all that closely. And like going back and rewatching it, it's like, oh, that makes sense. She's that personality. She's that person. She's the person that isn't just furniture, as Blake said. Like she's the person that you think of when you think of a big personality in Big Brother in recent years.
Especially in recent years.
That
And
Yeah,
picture
and
of
also I just want to say, also Big Brother, they released some quotes of 22 players, and there's this one quote in particular that says, "It's a new day and I can't wait to play." That sounds like a Davon quote to me.
yeah,
the
I mean, her
picture,
name's in
the picture
it.
of her and
Yeah, that's what
Keisha,
I'm saying.
the picture of her and Keisha together literally gave me chills because that, like, if this is true and they're in the house together, it's like I have no words. Like, I'm so excited.
we'll
And
get
then also, we can't forget about from BB18, her and Nicole did not see eye to eye. So I'm interested to
No,
see how that dynamic works out this
that's
season.
very
they're
true.
apparently friends now, though, but not like super close.
But Davon is smart. Like
Mhm.
Davon's smart and knows how Nicole
She knew
plays.
she knows
Nicole was
how Nicole
really
plays, and I
cool.
think honestly, I do think that this cast is kind of catered towards someone like Davon, especially in the female department.
Oh, I 100% agree. I think this cast is going to be ran by somebody who it really shouldn't be ran by. Similarly to All Stars 1, where Mike Boogie really had no business being in the final two and won the game because nobody liked either of the other options, Erica or Janelle. And I think that it's going to happen where Davon like really has no business, or I pray it's not one of the males that has no business being in the final two, but I hope it's Davon. And it's going to be against two people that like should be in the final two. And I think either they're going to take her or she's going to take them, and she's going to win.
I mean, hey, we can only hope. All right, so we're going to move on to the next rumored cast member, and that is Danielle Donato from Big Brother 8 and Big Brother 13. Is her name now Danielle Donato Briones, or is it just Danielle Briones? Or
It's
okay,
something close to that, yeah.
something like that. Well, I'm sure they'll clarify it and they'll talk about Dominic. I'm hella excited for this one. Danielle Donato is somebody who, when we were talking like old school all stars, kind of like post that 8 to like 14 era of kind of like,
The middle ground, yeah.
yeah, the middle ground players. She's probably
She's
the female
she's like the
I
first one I think of.
for Rachel Riley. Um, and I know Rachel was asked and declined, or at least allegedly declined. But Danielle Donato, I'm excited. First season that she'll play without Evil Dick being in, even though he really wasn't in the house in 13. But let's be honest. But yeah,
I'm
go ahead.
I'm kind of scared for Danielle, only because like based on the two seasons she did play, and based on the way I know, like I play very similarly to how she plays, and by nature Danielle is a villain. Like she plays a villainous game.
Oh
She
yeah,
doesn't like working with people who are popular, like especially when they annoy her, i.e. Rachel Riley. I think that like or at least I hope that like there's not going to be a majority of strong women and like one of them's going to annoy her and she just won't want to work with that group, because that's literally what happened in 13, where she was going to work with the vets and then Rachel pissed her off and she didn't want to work with the vets anymore. I think that Danielle is probably one of the only people that will like stand up like competition to Janelle. I think they're both like seeing them both compete and like actually compete will be really interesting.
One thing on that, I understand that Danielle Donato and Janelle were both competition beasts, but are they still the same people that they were when they played several years ago?
I mean, Janelle has definitely kept herself in shape. If you look at her Instagram or her Twitter or anything like that, she's always like traveling the country, working out, doing like different type of things. And I would assume that Danielle would be in the same way, especially like if you're Janelle or you're Danielle, especially Danielle, because like she couldn't compete in All Stars 1, you know you're getting that call.
Yeah, of course.
You know that they're gonna ask you, and if you're actually like considering it, you're gonna get yourself in shape.
Okay.
I think it'd be stupid not to, especially like somebody like Danielle specifically, who is known to be such a comp beast and will probably be somebody that people look at very early on. I think that would be the optimal move, would be to show them that you still got it.
Danielle, I see more so than kind of Janelle, because once again, Janelle's a little older, and also Janelle in 14 didn't really do too well in the comps. And she could be, granted, she didn't participate in too many comps, but
I think in the coaches comp she did pretty well.
Now too, if you think about it too, she could do okay because she was on The Amazing Race, and that requires a lot of physical ability to do that.
I don't watch The Amazing Race, so I don't.
She went with Brittany, if I'm not correct.
Who should be on this season of All Stars, but
Agreed.
We'll
That's
talk
how
about
he-
that in a bit once we get to Janelle.
And when we get to people that we want on, yeah. And it's Blake Panu. Oh.
There's another quote that Big Brother released today. It says, "I've played Big Brother twice before. My winning strategy this season is to remain as agile as possible." I thought at first maybe it's Nicole Franzo, but the more I looked into it, I don't know. I kind of feel that's a waste Danny would. I kind of feel it's Danny.
That's obviously Jason.
That's that, like, to me, just like that's like if you think about Janelle, the way Janelle does confessionals, that kind of sounds like a Janelle confessional.
But
Like Janelle,
Right.
I think
she has played
Janelle's.
3
I think
times.
Janelle's is something else that has to do with has a real estate reference in it, and I think
Yeah,
that's her quote.
Janelle. I think that's Janelle.
Danielle Donato, legend, queen, and everything between. There's no denying that Danielle Donato is an absolute beast. I actually am not worried for her for at least probably at like 4 weeks, I would say, because if you look at all these players on this season, people are going to glance at Janelle. People are going to look at Kaser. People are going to look at Tyler. People are going to look at Cody. I think people are going to look at all these other people before they glance at Danielle. Cody for physical reasons.
I was like, really?
No, but I think I do think Tyler and Cody will be targeted early. But
I agree. I have my first boot prediction, and I will say who it is when we get to them.
I think Danielle is set up for at least a little bit in the game. I don't think she'll be an immediate target, but I think people will definitely have an eye coming into the game and have an eye on her for sure.
All right. Any final comments on Danielle Donato before we hop on to the next person?
I never saw Big Brother 13, but I watched all of Big Brother 8, and I fucking stand her. I'm so excited to see her.
All right. So let's move on to Janelle. I have never figured out how to say her last name.
Pierzina.
Pierzina.
Okay. I was Pierzina or something like that. So Pierzina. Okay. So Janelle from Big Brother 6, 7, and 14. This is, I mean, do we even need to talk about this? I mean, it's Janelle.
If there's a Big Brother Mount Rushmore, Janelle is dead in the center of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Along with Will and
Janelle.
Yeah.
Janelle is one of the faces of Big Brother. Janelle is the
Hey, bitch.
She's the Sandra of Big Brother.
Except
Arguably,
as a
I would
woman.
say. If you like woman to woman, if you have to like compare two women,
Yeah.
I'd say she is the most recognizable Big Brother player to ever play Big Brother as a female.
Yep, I would have to agree. I don't think there's any question. I am glad that they are looking at people who played the original All-Star season. I'm glad they didn't say fuck anybody from seasons 1 through 7 and only did like 8 and beyond. I was actually kind of shocked, and when I first heard it, I kind of questioned it. But as Nick said, if there's a Mount Rushmore for Big Brother, she is at the center of it.
That's why I'm a little shocked that like the males that are also on that Mount Rushmore aren't playing this. Like none of them,
Yeah,
I think, are playing this season.
I mean, one of them.
Two of them were
Yeah.
no, but if you're talking about Mike Boogie, he is not on Mount Rushmore.
yeah, he's not.
So, absolutely. The Mount Rushmore of Big Brother, I have to say, well, there's 4 spots: Janelle, Dr. Will, Dan, and
Derek.
probably, Derek.
I honestly, I'd probably say someone who's a little more maybe recognizable. I'm thinking someone like, because Derek's only. Oh, here's the other thing about Derek. He's only played once. I'm thinking of people.
If I had to choose two girls, I'd probably pick Danielle Donato.
Oh, yeah,
I was
Danielle.
thinking between Danielle Donato, Brittany Haynes, Rachel Riley,
Yeah.
Yeah, Rachel.
Oh, Rachel, probably Rachel.
Jordan
Just
Boyd.
because.
and Jeff Schroeder. Those 5 are like the other 5.
Okay.
Don't forget Daniel Reyes. Daniel Reyes is a Big
Oh,
Brother icon
Danielle
as well.
Reyes.
I think
it's
the thing with Danielle is she hasn't played for so long.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Danielle hasn't played for so long that like the local casual watchers don't know who that is. If Danielle came back for this season, I'd be Danielle Reyes. I'd literally be over the moon ecstatic. I'd like if her name shows up on that TV tomorrow, I will screech, hoot, and holler because I want people to see the same thing that season 1 of All Stars was. I want to see the Danielle Reyes Janelle rivalry come back up again. Like I just like Danielle Reyes is just a really iconic player. But yeah, going back to Janelle, I think that like to have an All Stars without even like contacting one of the 2 people who are eligible because they played in I don't like calling it Gen 2 because it's like Gen 2, 3, 4 of Big Brother is like kind of a slap in the face, especially when the other one's literally in jail right now. So I think they made the right choice, and like I'm gonna be really excited to watch Janelle.
I was pleasantly surprised were the 2 words when I saw Janelle being like heavily rumored, and I think that's probably the name I've heard the most, honestly, out of
And she's been
everybody.
posting like somebody, and also another reason that makes me feel like Janelle is definitely on is because I've seen like tweets and stuff where she's posted on like her Instagram, but the posts looked like they were taken from the past and edited.
Brittany posted a picture on her Instagram or Twitter, I can't remember, and it was like of her and Janelle photoshopped in Greece, which if you don't understand that reference, that's where Janelle said she was going when BB14 was filming. She said she was taking a trip to Greece. So
oh, that's cool. That's nice. I don't follow a lot of these people on social media, so that's really cool to hear.
I'm super excited.
And Janelle's just been super. She's just and on Twitter too. Like she was usually active on Twitter, and she's been super quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's the other thing I do want to bring up. Another Danny thing, kind of going back now that I remember it. I want to say, Evil Dick actually tried texting her and and Danny never responded to him.
Well, I mean, they haven't talked for 5 years, right?
No, they still have they text each other occasionally, according to him. But he said he tried, and anytime he reaches out to her, she's responded to him, but she hasn't responded to him at all.
I was more so making a reference to Big Brother 8.
Yeah.
Blake, did you want to comment on Janelle?
I'm really, really excited for Janelle. I'm excited to see if she still has the comp abilities in her, which I think she will, because she keeps up with, she looks still pretty physically active. And kind of like Alex was saying, Janelle has been one of the most heavily rumored people. I'd say Janelle, Bailey, Tyler, all have been rumored since the beginning. And a lot of people kind of cracked the code for say. When
That
people were posting, or Janelle was posting pictures of her at the cabin. I know somebody else had mentioned this. And Janelle had like an ombre brown to blonde colored hair. And I know right before like this whole sequester thing happened, them going away, Janelle happened to dye her hair blonde again. So a lot of people thought that that was kind of a way of her saying that she was on the season. I mean, I believe that she's on the season regardless. She's one of the most heavily rumored people.
Also, I believe she reposted an old photo and claimed it was new.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, these people are going to do that stuff to, especially the oldies that like tricking the fans and whatnot, or not tricking, but like, giving
Mhm.
hints basically to super fans. I know
Mhm.
Janelle's heavily involved in the community because she's one of the greats. Like, why wouldn't she be? Any final comments on Janelle before we move on?
I'm excited to see her and Davon on feeds together.
Oh yeah, like
People interact.
so like the thing with Janelle is like very similarly to like questionably Rachel Riley because she kind of got 13 handed to her, but she's really really good at Big Brother, and she's also really really good at being on TV. Like she's really gold at, like she's TV gold.
Yeah, she really is. All
Mhm.
right. So we're going to move on to the next person on this list, which is Keisha Smith from Big Brother 10. When I didn't hear this name until about like 2 weeks ago, maybe. And when I heard the name, I screamed. And the reason I did is because I've always said that if you want a Big Brother All Stars 2, just bring back the Big Brother 10 cast. I mean, that cast, the fact that only Dan has returned from that cast is and I guess Jesse, but I don't really like Jesse. But
Jesse's the worst person that should have ever returned from that.
I agree. The worst. Literally, they could have picked Jerry. Okay,
Literally Jerry McDonald.
I would have been.
Jerry is an icon. Do not put disrespect on his name.
Either way, I'm hella excited to see Keisha Smith here. Is her birthday happen? Or
Yeah, it was August 1st.
I wanted another Keisha's birthday.
Anybody want cake?
I was just gonna say, I have a question for y'all. Anyone want cake?
I think when I saw Keisha, I was really, really skeptical because if I'm not mistaken, she made a Facebook post saying, "Hey y'all, I'm not gonna be on Big Brother 22. They didn't cast me." And I think that happened around the same time, either like the Dan and Derek got like removed or dropped or whatever it was happened. And I think like they replaced Dan with Keisha. I think, or they replaced Josh and Casey with Keisha, and she was like an alternate. Either way,
She got
I
on.
really think. Huh?
See, I actually,
She got on, but continue with what you're saying, Nick.
But like when I heard it, I was like, "This is stupid." Like she already said she's not going to be on, and then she deleted the post.
yeah, and
I
that's
was
why
like,
that's why I think that
"Oh."
when she made the post, I think she was actually being truthful because rumor has it that she replaced Casey. So I think that, well, the fact that they were gonna have Casey over Keisha to begin with is questionable to me.
Questionable.
I was
But
about week.
yeah, I think that she might have been being truthful and telling the truth by saying she wasn't on the cast at that point in time. And then she saw how much the fans wanted her on the season, and if they came to her to try to get her on the season, I think she knew that she had a big following and people love her and people want to see her back. So I think that was
trending.
that was driven behind her reason to possibly go on the show. So I mean, during that Facebook post, I do believe that she's being truthful. She wasn't cast at that time. And we never know. She still might not be cast, but I'm hoping and praying and crossing everything on my body that she's on the season.
I mean, right before that, like, she deleted the post, like, it was trending on Twitter.
It was
like a US trend that like, was just Keisha.
That shocked me. I mean, I'm happy, but like that did shock me. Anyone else want to talk about Keisha Smith?
I really, I'm very excited to see her. She is a badass player, and I'm ready to see her finally come back for the redemption that she deserves.
I wish we had more Big Brother 10 people. I really do. I want to see Libra, honestly.
Oh, yes.
I really liked Libra, and I really wanted to see her, especially her and Keisha together again. Like, I don't know. There's several other people. Of course, we could get Rennie and Jerry screaming, and that'd be great.
Oh, speaking of all-around players, I think that Keisha is also one of those well-rounded players. I think she has aspects of all three areas of the game that you need, and I think that would be working well for her as well going into the season.
Well, underestimate her physical game. She had a really good physical game in Big Brother 10. I don't think enough people talk about that. And here's
I think that
sorry, go ahead.
I think that's one thing about this season that's like kind of scary is there are a lot of physical comp beasts in this season.
Especially on the female side, comparatively.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
The males,
Yeah.
there's a couple males, but
I think all the females are badass this season. I'm not gonna lie. Like, even Chris. Like, I mean, saying Christmas is badass. I think she's good physically. She's not good, obviously, in other ways. But I think all the women this season are super, super strong.
Oh, I think the women's side of things is definitely stronger than the male side of things for sure.
I hope that whatever this male rumored list, I hope half of these people aren't on, to be honest with you, but we'll get to them in a minute. One last thing about Keisha before I move on. I think that people are going to underestimate her in that house. People are going to be like, Keisha, like the girl with the birthday from Big Brother 10, and she's going to be able to get away with a lot more than someone like Janelle or Danielle Donato or
I'm hoping those three work together. Like, those three and Davon is like my dream. Like, if those four work together, I don't see anybody beating them.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I don't feel Keisha. Like, Keisha's out of the strong women. I think Keisha is the lesser known of them, and I think that's gonna play to her advantage very well.
There's her.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say there's her, and then there's one other male who I think's really, really good. That's just gonna fly under the radar. That's on this one of the few males I like on this cast. But go ahead, continue, and then we're gonna move on to the next person.
I think if like any combination of Keisha, Danielle, and Janelle work together, I don't think anybody's winning competitions. I think it's going to be really hard to get what you want done because I think that they're going to win HOHs, and when they don't win HOHs, they're going to win vetoes, and it's just going to be a clusterfuck of people scrambling to figure out a backup plan to a backup plan because both backup plans are failing because these women keep winning competitions. And I just think it's going to be rough.
All right, so let us move on to the only alumni from Big Brother 21 that is allegedly on this cast. Miss Fan Favorite, Nicole, I believe her last name's Aubrey, right? Nicole Aubrey?
Anthony.
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 Okay, I don't know where I got Nicole Aubrey from.
So, let me start with this one because
Okay.
Nicole is, I don't think I've met someone who I can literally describe with the terms rainbows and unicorns and have it be 100% correct. She is the literal sweetest person.
You're really going to say that with Grace on this call?
I was gonna say what?
I think with Nicole, her arc felt very, very incomplete in Big Brother. And like every reality show, even if it's in real time, has to have like a story arc. It has to ebb and flow. It has to feel a certain way, even if like the outcome isn't what the fans want. I feel like her story arc, however, was so incomplete that it wouldn't make sense to not have her back, even on a season as shitty as 21, or with a cast as shitty as 21. I think Nicole was the silver lining that was in 21 because
She saved the season by winning America's Favorite Player.
yeah, I think that she had this like underdog story arc that like she was gonna win and she got so close to the end and just like barely made it or didn't make it, and I feel like that's why she's on. I also feel like she got bullied really hard, and if you asked Nicole during 21 if she'd ever come back for an all-star season, she'd probably say hell no. But then taking a step back, looking at how the fans reacted to her, it makes a lot of sense why she said yes to coming back on.
I'm just realizing that you said the only person from Big Brother 21, yet we have one more person.
I realized I messed that up. I forgot.
Yeah, there is
even-
one more person, and it makes sense of why you forgot them.
Yeah.
Of anyone on that season, logistically makes sense why you forgot them.
I do know why they're bringing him back, and I do want to get to that. Like I understand why, and I don't have as much a problem with him being there as some of these other people. So
fair.
But we'll get to that.
I think Nicole. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, babe.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you good.
Okay. I am really, really excited to see Nicole back. I think that Cliff was 100% her downfall. Cliff is one of my least favorite players from recent seasons. Actually,
absolutely.
I think he was very overrated. He was not strategically smart, and yeah, I think he was overrated. Nicole,
I don't agree, but okay.
Nicole clearly wanted to vote out Holly, which would have been the better decision. And Cliff kept on insisting that that was the wrong decision.
Oh, that is the optimal move there, because if Tommy goes...
There's a lot of things.
I mean, that's the optimal move, because if Tommy or Cliff go, Mitchie has to take Nicole at the end.
I think Nicole, I just think that Nicole had an anchor on her the whole time, and Cliff was that anchor holding back her game, because I think she would have played way better without...
I agree. I love
arguably the same thing could have been said for Holly, but that's a story for another time.
I love Cliff as a person, but I have to definitely, and I noticed it throughout the season, I have to agree that he ruined her game, because the decisions he made kind of factored into that.
I did not finish Big Brother 21 after like Jessica's eviction. Or maybe it was Kat's eviction. I stopped watching the season. I just found the cast insufferable. The only like people I liked were the people in the pre-jury, and then like minus Isabella, and then Cliff, Nicole, and Kat. I didn't even really like Jessica that much, but she was tolerable at the very least. She wasn't like the other people in the house. So I don't know much about Nicole's game, at least late game. She's another person that I do think is kind of going to go under the radar. Now, she is the most recent AFP, America's Favorite Player, and that might put some target on her back, at least comparative to someone like Keisha. But I think she's going to slide under the radar with all of these other big targets. Who's not going to want to take out someone like a Janelle or a winner, even like a Nicole Franzel or a Ian Terry week 1, comparative to Nicole? I think she has jury on lock just for existing in the universe. She's just one of those people.
She's so sweet. Like
I
she's
like her.
She's kind of reminds me of myself in a way. She's just so like she's naturally likable enough where people are they're not gonna want to vote her out immediately. They're gonna want to work with her because they like her
Oh,
so much, and then they'll see her as a threat.
I see Nicole pulling a Janelle here. I see Nicole being dragged to the final three, not winning that final three immunity, or not immunity, final three HOH, and getting sent home because she's too much of a jury threat.
You mean
Potential.
basically what happened in Big Brother 21 minus the whole being dragged thing, because that was different.
And
Well, but like the reason it's not like Janelle is because I think Janelle like earned her spot in the final three, and I'm not saying that Nicole's not going to earn her spot if she gets the final three. I'm just saying the likeliness of her getting dragged to final three versus her winning multiple competitions and strategizing and doing what's needed to be done to get the final three are very slim, in my opinion.
Slim to none. Sadly.
Yeah, I don't.
And I
When I
love
think
it, but
when I think of
Gotcha.
huge strategic comps, I don't think Nicole Anthony.
yeah. Mhm.
I think when I think of huge social players, I think of Nicole Anthony.
Yes, personally. Do I think that Nicole should be on All Stars and deserves to be an All Star? I guess it makes more sense to me than Christmas Abbott or Bailey to me. I'm still kind of mad about the Christmas thing, but it makes
so we're all
more sense than them, especially with her being America's favorite player in the last season and being one of the few tolerable things from season 21. And I know CBS wants to represent their previous season, so
When I heard Nicole was on, I saw her getting like the spot that Christmas got, where it's like,
that's what I was.
oh, that's who you think of like at the last second, like, oh, we need somebody that's like gonna be likable by the fans, that's gonna be that made it far,
No
that's on this last season.
No one's
Nicole,
gonna
let's go.
really question her.
Exactly.
Like
I
we're
didn't
we're not shocked she's here, but does she deserve to be here?
like the fact that people like Danielle Reyes, Brittany Haynes, Rachel Riley, and Vanessa aren't on the season over people like Christmas and Bailey kind of really irks my soul. And
I
makes
think.
me
I
really
do think.
upset.
I do
I know
think
Rachel.
Vanessa.
Rachel.
sorry. Yeah, I know
Well-
Vanessa probably would have been on if she didn't just have those two.
Yeah, the
I
twins.
think,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, and I know Rachel's pregnant right now.
I think Rachel's saying. I don't know if Brittany was astronaut. I haven't heard anything. Wasn't that?
If Brittany wasn't asked, then it was because of Janelle.
But that's.
I think having Brittany and Janelle on the same season again is a
bit
recipe for one of them to go home pre-jury,
Yeah.
if not both of them.
I guess. I guess. All right. Let's move on because I got about 30 minutes and we still got to get to all these mails. So let's move on to Nicole Franzel. I know.
Crickets.
I know that people are very either they love her or they hate her, and most people hate her. I understand that. I'm actually one of the few people about her. Like I don't love her. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Nicole Franzel totally deserves to be here. Blah 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 blah. But she's.
I think it makes sense for her to be here.
Yeah, it makes sense for her to be here to me, at least compared to the other Nicole, in my opinion. One winner. We don't have that many female winners in Big Brother, and she's a winner. So, and I know that they were struggling to get winners on here, and we knew Casey was going to be on, and Josh as well.
Yeah, they went hard. You can get the coronavirus.
Yeah, and looking at this cast, there's only one female winner and one male winner. So allegedly, so
Allegedly.
it makes sense to me.
I
And I'm not down on her as other people are. Is all I was gonna add. Do I like and respect her gameplay? she was a lot better feeds and TV in 16 than 18. But
I
her
think
better in
She
18.
was annoying in 18. All she did, the reason why she was so annoying for me in 18 is all she did was Corey.
yeah, I think a lot of her game in 18 was sheathing men, which I mean worked out for her. I mean, she got what she needed to get done. She won the season. But I think the only reason she won the season was because place and time and who she brought to the end. And like, I don't see Nicole winning over anybody else in that season. I think that
It was third in Big Brother 18.
my point
James.
exactly.
James.
Who?
Yeah, James was gonna beat both of them.
James.
James.
I think that
I don't know.
He did not play a good game. I think the
I don't
only people that vote
He
for
didn't-
James are apparently I saw in an interview, had Paul brought James to the final two instead of Nicole. The only people that were gonna vote James were Natalie and Michelle.
see, I don't see that because I genuinely feel like James would have beat them. Like after the fact, when people watch everything back, of course they're gonna say they weren't gonna vote for James because James was kind of really toxic in that game. But I think he played a decent game like live. And I don't think Nicole beats James. Like I really don't think Nicole beats James. Maybe Paul beats James, but I do not think Nicole beats James.
I think the thing about Nicole is that I've seen enough of her. Like in 16, I loved her. I think we all like really liked Nicole after 16.
Speak for yourself,
Oh,
baby.
yeah,
Speak
she
for
was so
yourself.
good at 16. I
And
like
then she
Speak.
yeah, and then she came back for 18, and she
Speak for yourself.
basically played the exact same game. Like we've seen 2 replica gameplays from her. We have not seen
There just wasn't a
anything
Derek
new.
this time.
Right.
Well, I mean,
But she got into the same showman strategy. She did the same thing both times, only the second
Aiden was
time.
more tolerable in 16.
I agree.
I agree with that too.
well, I
Same-
also think, I think her gameplay is so tired. Like,
We don't
she
need to
didn't-
see it again.
She
don't.
doesn't have a gameplay. Like, she doesn't have a strategy.
I
I
agree.
cannot.
See her in a showmance because she's
Right.
engaged.
That's what I was about to say. Her being engaged to Victor, I think, is going to force her to change her strategy this time around. That's what I was going to get to. She's going to have to play something else because she can't play the suck dick strategy because she's already got a dick back at home to suck, unless she just wants to completely forget about that one. So,
But I don't think that she's gonna do a good job because her gameplay before Hayden and before Corey, when she was in that house, was non-existent. And I don't dislike Nicole because I feel like Nicole gets a lot of unnecessary hate for no reason. However, I don't think Nicole will ever be a Janelle. I don't think Nicole will ever be a Danny D. I don't think Nicole will ever like be up to that standard.
I agree with that. And I think she's going to get targeted before the other winner that's on this cast.
Oh, I
Yeah.
definitely agree. I think I'm kind of interested what her and Davon's game relationship is going to be like again in this cast. But I have to say, like, speaking on the, like, now that it reminds me the showmances thing, I think the thing that's going to make this season amazing, I don't see any showmances whatsoever with these people.
Yeah, no, I don't see a showman's popping
is
up.
about
If one
fucking
does,
time.
it would surprise the hell out of me. I hope not. I'm sorry. I'm kind of tired of it at this point. Like they're cute and whatnot. Sometimes and sometimes they're not. But
But we
I
don't
don't
need like
think
3 every season.
Right.
yeah, it gets too much. Too much.
I don't think we're not going to be seeing it in this season because most of these people have actually partners to go back home to.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on from the females to the males on this alleged cast, which I don't like half these people. All right, so let's get into it with first off Cody Calafiori.
Am
The
I the only
silence
one
says
who
it all.
kinda-
Yes.
Am I the only one who kind of forgot how he played? Like, I don't remember him much. I more remember his brother, which is
Look, I know Taron Armstrong is going to talk about how great Cody Calafiori played, but I'm sorry. He
I
rode
don't.
Derek's coattails, listened to whatever the fuck Derek wanted to do. However, compared to half of these people, I actually don't have as much of a problem with him as some of these other people on this list. He made the final two.
But
He did a stupid move by not taking Victoria. I know there's some alleged, oh, Victoria would have. No, Victoria was not winning. I'm sorry. Like, she's cool and all, but no, it's Victoria.
no, not at all. And another thing too, I actually do like Cody here, and the reason being is that apparently Polly was thought of before Cody was, and I would much rather have Cody here.
Much rather have he's 1,000 times the better Calafiori brother. I don't think anyone's gonna.
And I remember seeing a tweet too that somebody tweeted out. They met both Calafiori brothers IRL, and they said the brothers are completely opposite of each other. Cody's a sweetheart, and Polly's a douchebag.
I mean, we can kind of tell that from how they played in their seasons.
Mm-hmm.
If Cody was the only questionable male on this cast, it would be because he fits in that spot of Nicole Anthony, where it's like, okay, sure, I guess he's all-star quality, if you want to put him on there, but he's not the only one. There are other people on this list that I am mad that they're on this list. I just want to go ahead and say this now because this has been bugging me since we've been talking about this. Where is Johnny Mac? I'm sorry. I love Johnny Mac. Where is Johnny Mac on this cast?
I am his biggest stan on earth. Why the fuck didn't I notice he was missing? What happened?
Not here. I'm sorry. I think
I'm fucking driving to Scranton right now and getting him in a car and driving to California. Like, bitch, you're gonna miss the premiere and I'm getting you and you're getting in my fucking car. Let's go. Like, it's happening.
But I just don't understand. Like, he was robbed of America's favorite player. Honestly, I think he was robbed of coming back for Big Brother 18 if they were going to bring back a returnee. Over James Hewling. I'm sorry. I want Johnny Mac. Fans love him. I mean, super fans and
got that award over him though. So and CBS seems more up James's dick than Johnny Mac.
About Cody,
yeah.
I just want to say that I think that he is really, really bland, if I'm being honest. He just doesn't bring anything for me. If we're talking about Big Brother 16 males, I would have rather seen Donnie. I would have.
Donnie?
Yeah, I would even love to see, and don't come at me for saying this, I would love to see Devin Shepard back.
Yeah, Devin was so crazy.
He brings the drama, and that's what we want. Like, I actually really enjoyed Devin Shepard. I thought that he was
so funny.
Yeah.
Fun while he was in the house. I'll agree.
Yeah.
He grew on me because usually the people that are major crackheads, I have a trend with them. I hate them preseason, and then in the season they're so messy, kind of like Josh and Caitlyn. I'm like, because they're so crazy that it's just so funny to watch.
Anyone else want to talk about Cody Calafiori before we move on? Okay, yeah. And that's pretty much, I feel like, how everyone's going to feel about him the entire time he's on the season. And I think he's going to get dragged to and I say dragged. I think he'll win comps because, once again,
he won comps in 16. Right?
Yeah, he did, but someone's going to control him.
The biggest issue with Cody is he's a big bimbo. He's a really sweet, kind, big bimbo, and he needs somebody to lead him, and Derek's not there this season, so we're going to figure out who's going to lead him.
I think
looking at this cast, I feel he's gonna be sheeping.
No, I think it's gonna be Ian Terry. I think Ian Terry might sheep him. Yeah, I know that sounds crazy.
I have a couple suggestions.
I think Enzo or Ian will be the person that
one of them.
I think that I'm also ready to see him and Cole play together again.
Well,
Honestly, I could see Ian, Enzo, and Cody working together, which I don't like all male alliances, but if I had to choose any all male alliance, that would be the one I want.
let's move on. Blake, did you want to say one last thing about Cody?
I think that I have two quick things real quick. I think that him and Nicole's bond outside the game is an interesting dynamic that might be taken into effect into the game. Sorry, words, I'm not good with them. Also, Cody and Tyler, I think, might come together because they know that they're two strong physical male players. And I think that might I think if Tyler or Cody want to make it far, they almost have to come together because I think
Point, but I'll just say it now.
I think Tyler's.
I think Tyler's first boot. I think he's gonna be the
I'm
first.
not gonna say first boot, but I'm gonna say one of the first pre.
Yeah, one of.
Or no, and if it's not him, it's probably gonna be Cody.
All right, let's move on to the next rumored house guest that's on this list. David Alexander from Big Brother 21. This is the person that we're referring to. Now, I do want to speak on this first. Here's my speculation as to why David's here, and honestly, I'm more okay with it than some other people on this list. And here's why. Especially with all that's been going on in this country with Black Lives Matter and stuff like that, I feel as if Big Brother wanted to cast a African American male, and the ones that they've casted in the past typically have not done so well. They've gotten pre-jury a lot. Now, some of the older seasons, you've got people like Marcellus and Marvin, but I don't think Marcellus or Marvin are going to come back for Big Brother 22 from 4 and 7 and 3.
And on top of that,
I also think the way he went out in 21 was kind of
100%.
controversial.
yeah, no. And then afterwards, he was able to demonstrate, while he was eliminated from the game, a near, if not perfect fucking read on the house.
No,
like,
house, yeah.
He knows how to play the game. He got pinned so early that he wasn't able to do anything.
Yep.
And then you also have to take into effect that Big Brother 21 is going to be the new season that we just don't talk about.
I am okay with David being on this cast. Honestly, I prefer it to Cody. Does he deserve it more than Cody? Maybe not, but I'm way more excited for it than I am for Cody. I'm sorry, I'm not jumping out.
I want to see David actually get the opportunity to play. Well, he did. He got to be social, but to be actually full on in the game this time. And with this cast, there's not going to be any racial attacks or anything like there was in 21.
That was fun.
I also think that, so I am absolutely behind David being on the season, even though it's not, is he an all-star? Maybe not, some people will say, but like Jack said, he had an amazing read on the house. And when he was in the camp battle back or whatever, he was trying to make things happen still. Yep. However, if we are also talking about people who were given an unfair treatment, I think Howard should have also been on this season. I love Howard so much, and I'm
my girl Candace.
I just want to say,
Candace, yes.
Howard lives in the city that I live in, and I've had the chance to meet him, and he is the absolute nicest person that I have ever met. Such a gentle soul, Howard Overby. Love him. Just wanted to throw that in there. I've always wanted to see Howard return. Will he? Doubt he ever will. It was pretty traumatic for him, especially when he talks about it. The experience for him was not that good. Now, this would be the type of season that I think he would return back for, because he is still a fan of the show. I haven't talked to him in 2 years or so, but as far as I was aware, he was still a fan of the show and whatnot. But any other thoughts on David being in this cast? I'm actually excited for it.
I'm very excited to see him. I'm really excited to see him. I stand him in interviews last season, and then I'm ready. And I don't think, this cast isn't racist. So we should be good. He should be good. And also, since he ended up getting that bad hand, I don't think he's going to be taken very seriously by these people, and that's going to make him go really far in this competition.
I'm gonna say it now. I think that David is in it for the long haul because he's gonna be severely underrated. He's gonna be overlooked. He's not gonna be
Unless
looked
he
at as
tries
a
to
big
play too
player.
hard too fast. That's the only.
Right. I think somebody like David is going to win this season. Somebody who is underrated and not looked at. I think if David gets to the end playing a good game, I think he has the win in the bag. I do.
I agree.
That's another reason they casted him, because they saw him and the way he read the house in 21, and they saw that he had potential to be an all-star type of player.
Yeah. Okay, so no one else has anything to say on David. I'm going to move on to the next one. And to me, out of everybody on this cast, this is the one that I am like, what the fuck? I'm sorry. Enzo Palumbo, or whatever his name is, does not deserve to be here, aka Meow Meow from Big Brother 12. Okay. I rewatched Big Brother 12. Like they have like 2.5-hour versions on YouTube. I watched it yesterday. He didn't do shit throughout that entire thing. Lane, Matt Hoffman, or Hayden, any of them, if they would have picked any other brigade member, I'd be like, okay.
So you just mentioned something. At one point, I did hear Hayden's name come up. He might have been an early replacement for Hayden.
But even still, I'd much rather
Is that the best choice? No.
Lane. Like,
I think they looked at
this choice.
I think they looked at who was on the brigade and they wanted to bring somebody back from that. And the people who were unavailable were not Enzo. So I think that Enzo was kind of put in by default. Do I mind Enzo being on the season? I honestly don't, because I think that I think he has potential. Like Julie Chen said, this is a season where people want to prove or have something to prove. So I'm all about giving people a second shot. However, I do agree with Alex. I don't necessarily think of him as an all-star. I mean, I'm excited to see him back because I want to see what he can do, but I don't know.
He annoyed me. I'm sorry. I found him annoying, to be honest with you. He seems like, at least, that he thinks that he ran the entire thing when really it was Lane. Honestly, I don't think Lane gets enough respect.
Enzo on BB12 was better fit for the Jersey Shore. I mean, he was as dense as any Jersey Shore cast member. He was very macho, very like that whole thing. And I do agree with what Alex said. I think that like the only reason he's on is because every single other male person that they were looking at on BB12 rejected them. And they were left with Enzo.
But
I said, fuck it, I guess.
Well, you know the weird thing? Apparently, according to Evil Dick, Enzo on the live feeds did a hell of a lot more than people see. And I'm just like, that's kind of interesting. And also, like, and it's confirmed he's on, because that's the other thing. Like, Evil Dick, too, like, is really good friends with Enzo. And usually he said Enzo would call him back immediately, and Enzo has not been responded to him either.
I'm not taking, look,
Damn, Dick's just not getting responses from anybody.
I'm not taking what Evil Dick says into account what I'm thinking. Like, I get he's well connected and whatnot, but like, he's been wrong. Like, he's been right sometimes. Don't get me wrong.
But he's also been wrong.
I still remember when he leaked the whole Big Brother 20 cast the day before the reveal and was right.
That's true, but like, I trust Brent Walgamot more than I trust Evil Dick. Like, I mean,
now watch the biggest gag of the season be Dick on there. It's just like, Who the fuck
I
is
don't think
including?
CBS is inclusive enough to have Dick on the show at the moment.
They would
Because
never
I don't
bring him back.
I don't think CBS would ever have anybody HIV positive, even if they were undetectable on Big Brother, which I find kind of gross.
I mean, also he said a lot of
Yeah, I mean, his
things
relationship with
and-
CBS is not by any means the best, so I wouldn't assume that. But also, just on the basis of like his status, I don't think they'd have him back on the show.
I'd much rather have him than Enzo, though. I mean,
Oh, so with the most.
Oh, I'd
whatever.
much rather have Dick than half of these males, all of these males.
I like
I
a
mean,
couple of these guys.
you're
But
so
over
subjective.
Dick,
There,
over Dick
go.
Donato,
Two-
I can't see a single person on this list that I would rather have over Dick Donato.
I got two people, but other than that,
So
Enzo, I'm sorry. Look, if I'm completely wrong and Enzo ends up being the fucking greatest player of this season and ends up winning, I think he's going to get dragged again, just like he got dragged by his Brigade alliance that he created. Sure, he created the alliance, but it was actually him and Matt Hoffman. But he's gonna try and I feel like he's gonna do the same thing. He's gonna make an alliance, he's gonna give them stupid nicknames, and he's gonna stay super loyal to it, not win shit, get dragged, because who's gonna waste a week on Enzo when you have Janelle and Danielle Donato and even Cody Calafiori or Tyler Crispin? Like,
I mean, they wasted a week on Chicken George when they had Janelle, so anything's possible.
they waste.
not that.
Well, Chicken George won a comp, okay?
Chicken George, no. They wasted a week on Jordan Lloyd when they had Rachel Riley.
Okay, sure. I guess that's a better argument. I guess.
Although I like Jordan Lloyd, I take that comparison back. Absolutely not. Jordan Lloyd is way above the level of Chicken George.
What? Not a Chicken George fan?
I'm a hard Jordan Lloyd stan.
Fair enough. I love Jordan Lloyd too. So, okay, Enzo. I don't think any of us know why he's. Well, no, we know why he's here because he was the last person in the phone book. But really, Johnny Mac, Donnie Thompson, Eric Stein. Like, where are these people? I'm trying to think of a couple more.
Oh, Eric Stein is so good.
They're not coming to mind right now, but like
Eric Stein is the one person that I have always wanted back for All Stars, and the fact that he's not back is kind of like a slap in the face.
I agree. I think
Eric was literally winning that game had America's Player not been a twist.
and he wants to come back. Like he still does. He still keeps up with Big Brother. He does Big Brother. He does the Summer with Stein with Rob Sesternino on Rob is a Podcast. I mean, he's still active in the community. A lot of these people are that we're talking about that are on this season. Where are they? Like,
They didn't get the call. Simple as that. They didn't want them.
why? That's
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm still not over Johnny Mac not being on this alleged cast. I'm still mad about that. Anyways,
Yeah.
I'll get off the
I agree.
bandwagon. I'll try and stop mentioning him. Let's move on to Ian Taylor. This one I'm fine. It makes
This
sense.
one's interesting.
He's a winner.
So
Winner of Big Brother. I'll let Nick go ahead since Nick wants to talk. Go ahead.
I think Ian was cast when Dan was cast because it makes I feel like what they tried to do was get a lot of people who had connections to at least one person.
Duos.
Yeah. Like
Mhm.
Kaysar and Janelle. Looking at this list, there was supposed to be Bailey and Tyler. Just like you said, duos. I think there were supposed to be duos of people.
Josh and Casey.
Josh and Casey. Nicole and
it's-
Avon. Like whether they were rivals or allies, I think there was a lot of supposed duos in this season. And I think that was the backup format was if they weren't doing all stars, they were doing duos. And I think by the look of the cast, you could kind of surmise that was a thing. Like Keisha Memphis, literally Keisha Memphis. I think that Ian Terry as a player is very intelligent, and I think he knows how to play the game very well. I just think the only issue with Ian Terry's game is that he shouldn't have won 14. Like, if you look at who played 14, the only reason Dan lost was because
He's a newbie, or Ian was a newbie.
Exactly, because Ian was a newbie and Dan pissed too many people off.
Yeah.
I think that does provide an interesting argument of him being cast of he needs to prove why he won.
I see,
Yeah, I can see that. I feel kind of the same thing with Nicole. That's another reason to prove why she did, because I still think to this day Paul should have beaten her in 18.
I think the fact that Paul's not on All Stars is kind of shocking to me.
I feel like he was contacted and said
so many
no.
people. I don't think they would bring him back.
No, I think they would definitely bring him back.
He got the call. I'm almost 100% he got the call.
I think he declined though.
Yes.
I just wish they would have named this season more so of like Big Brother RuPaul's Drag Race.
Redemption.
Big Brother Redemption. I think that would have been
more
fitting.
The issue with that is like there are people on this show that don't. There's people on this cast that absolutely don't need redemption, and that feels like a slap in the face to sit there and say that somebody like Danielle Donato or Janelle need redemption, because like that's like a lie. I do think this cast for the woman is an all-stars cast. I think this cast for the men is laughable.
I agree. Ian's one of the few that I'm like makes sense. Like,
go ahead.
This one I'm like this is not one of the ones I was talking about when I was talking. I'm talking about the Enzos and even to an extent the Cody Calafuries on the cast.
Mm-hmm. I think that
Ian's fine. I like Ian.
I'm equating Ian coming back to All Stars like Michelle Fitzgerald from Survivor coming back to Winners at War. Like, I feel like he is coming in with some baggage of like, should he have won his season? Same thing with Nicole. Like, I feel like they're very much like, was your season won because the jury just didn't like the other person, or was like your game won because you played the best game?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you are able to beat Dan Giesling, you did something right. Like,
I don't think that jury was going to give it to Dan.
Hold on. I do think, like I was saying, I do think if you can beat Dan Giesling, I think you did something right. Socially, Ian was pretty good. Strategically, Ian was okay. Physically, Ian won that crucial double eviction veto when he needed to.
Ian is another underestimated comp beast. People no understand that Ian won comps in Big Brother. Like, he really did. They have him as I pick him in Brand Steel a lot because he wins comps. I mean,
yeah, I could see that, but like,
Ian Terry's an all-star. I really think he is.
Ian's never winning a physical or endurance comp over the likes of the people that are in this game.
Not Cody Calafury or Tyler Crispin, no.
Or any of the females.
Yeah.
I think that he 100% wins any mental comp that he goes into. I feel like he's one of the few players that is very good mentally that are playing this game. I think the only other person that's arguably is Nicole A. and Danielle Donato.
Yeah, Danielle can hold her own. I think there's one or two other males that we haven't got to yet that can. But let's move on. We've talked a good bit for Ian. Now, this one is another one that when I saw, I screamed in joy. If this is true, I'm going to love this. Kaysar Ryder from Big Brother 6 and Big Brother 7. I loved him. He's one of my all-time favorite Big Brother contestants.
He's such a legend. He was just so, especially in season 6, he was so entertaining to watch.
He's entertaining. He's not an all-star when it comes to, in my opinion, the game aspect, but he's got the TV. He is a he's great television. When he told Maggie, "I sealed your partner's fate," that's one of my all-time favorite Big Brother moments. Like, I love Kaser. Plus representation. He was the first Muslim person that I personally had ever seen on any other than like my grandparents like shit talking them. So and I was able to see it and like understand kind of like it was representation for me. And it was important to me at least because representation is important to me. It is something that I value a lot. So I'm very excited to see what he's going to do, especially I just hope he takes jury this time. That's all I'm saying.
I really hope so. The only thing I'm scared for about Kaser is that people are automatically going to pin him and Janelle together, and that's going to create a huge target.
That's fair, but evicted 3 times, 2-time pre-juror. I think Janelle's going to get the axe before Kaser does.
I disagree. I disagree.
I mean, it depends on the social connections that they make. I'm just saying, like, if they're targeted off the bat, I think people are going to see Janelle as a bigger threat than Kaser. That's all. That's what I mean by that. Inevitably, I think Janelle goes further, but.
So I've had many of arguments with people about Kaser because, to me personally, Kaser is one of the most overrated players I've ever seen. In terms of like the way people think he plays the game. Do I think he's good TV? Absolutely. And I think that's why he's on. And I also think he's on because of Janelle. But in terms of his gameplay, it's kind of really shit. Like, it's kind of really shit. Like, he does not play Big Brother well. And like, I think Janelle has the social connections outside of the game that she can bring into the game that will keep her, like, if it's between her and Kaser, if her and Kaser are on the block, absolutely Janelle's going home. I don't see anybody in their right mind keeping Janelle over Kaser when they're sitting as nominees, like, back to back. I just don't think Janelle's going to be in that position.
I'm sorry, Enzo Palumba will do whatever anyone tells him. So
I really agree with Alex when he said that one of my favorite Big Brother memories is when he was outside talking to Maggie and she said that he basically sealed her fate and he was like, "No, I sealed your partner's fate." That was so funny. I think that Kaser actually stands a decent chance, and I think that his quote could have been the one about playing 2 times and being agile coming back in.
That's another person I did think of, but I don't know. To me, it kind of gave me like Danielle. I don't know why it gave me Danielle, but
yeah, I think it has to be either Danielle or sure.
Kaser, yeah.
Kaser's very
that, yeah, and I think that since it's been such a long time, he knows what he did wrong. I want to think and I want to hope, and he knows what to change up this time. So I'm really, really hoping that we see a different side of Kaser's game this time.
Kaser played back-to-back seasons. You don't really get a good overview of your game coming in from 6.
You do make a good point on that because he just got out of 6 and then he's over here playing on 7. At least he's had how many years? Like he's had like 14, 15 years of reflection at this point.
If this is true, I was very skeptical when I heard this because I was like, are they going to really bring back Kaser? I mean, I'm here for it, but are they really going to bring back Kaser?
And they did.
I am 110% on board. This is one of the 2 males that I am like, yes for. And then Ian is like, yay. And then the rest of these people are kind of like, to me. But, yeah, any more comments on Kaser? I'm excited for this.
If he's really out, I'm going to be.
He needs to learn how to be fake. That's what I'm gonna say.
Hope that 15 plus years has done that to him.
Also, the one thing I want to see brought back, if they're bringing Kaser back, and I think everyone knows what I'm about to bring up.
Pressure cooker.
Yes, exactly. If they put the pressure cooker somewhere.
Please.
Somewhere.
I love
all I
The
want.
pressure cooker is one of the best comps to like never come back.
And it
makes me
literally takes
so
10
upset.
minutes to build. It literally takes 10
No, that
minutes to
competition
build.
was so
It's a
good.
fucking box. Excuse
It
my
was-
language.
My favorite thing, that comp was
This
so
one
much
is working
drama
with
with
the
the two sides with as much tension as there was.
I hope we get a split house this season. I don't know.
Oh, I really hope that would be so amazing.
I
if we
miss
get a
split
split.
houses.
I don't want a split house per se. I just don't want it to be one-sided. Like
I
I
think
want
it would be. Oh, sorry.
like multiple sides.
I think it'd be interesting to see a bunch of people. Like, I think it'd be interesting to not see like any sides, but groups of people getting together every week and still having that split vote. And
Like
it's
a voting
switching
block.
up.
Different
Yeah, voting blocks.
stuff.
I think that would be like new to Big Brother because we've never really seen like voting blocks in Big Brother.
You're right.
Because
It's
it's
been
risky.
like split
Maybe
alliances
17,
or one-sided gang ups, like 19 and 21 were. And then you got split houses like 20.
17 is kind of, I think, your best example of a voting block. But even then, there was an alliance and then a voting
Yeah.
block. So, like, that's been the best example of a voting block that we've seen. But
And I could potentially see this season having voting blocks because of the cast. But
Yeah, for sure. I don't see these
Mhm.
people all stick. Hey, we're gonna be in alliance and stick
I
through the whole entire time. I don't see it.
unless Enzo's trying to come out here and pull, hey, we should have a 10-person alliance. Like,
I honestly feel if Enzo does something like that, I feel
Like
it's gonna
Enzo's
get back
asking
to the
for
wrong people and it's gonna get him targeted.
that's why I think like a season of floaters might actually be entertaining as heck because you would have voting blocks. You would have voting blocks.
I'm all for that. Either way, we have 3 more people, and then we're going to talk about people who we think should be on. We've already talked about some, but we'll talk about a few more other people we've heard rumored, and then we're going to end this off. So, next up is Kevin Campbell from Big Brother 11, and I am saying fuck yes to this one. I am hella excited for this. When I heard this, once again, skeptical. This is the other male that I was just like, this, Kaser, Ian, I'm here for it. Everyone else, eh. But I love Kevin Campbell. He was robbed in Big Brother 11. He really was. I love Jordan Lloyd. I love her. But Kevin was robbed of that win. 11's one of my favorite seasons, and the fact that Kevin has never returned is shameful. He should have returned at some point. I think he should have been one of the returnees for 18 or something like that. Like, I don't know.
Frank. I think he could have replaced fucking misogynist, sexist Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who sucked in 14.
Kevin, is he the only gay male on this cast? Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, he is.
Unfortunately.
He's. I mean, I'm trying to think of
Everyone else is
other
straight as
really
shit.
good gay males in Big Brother. Like
Andy.
who?
Andy.
Yeah, Heron.
I
Not,
I
not
hate
Heron.
Andy as a player, but you can't deny that he wasn't at least decent at the game.
Oh no, he was great at the game.
Yeah.
He played the floater game, probably
The
one
first
of, if
one
not
was a
the
good
best.
player.
Why couldn't we replace Enzo? Sorry,
Give me Marcellus.
Why couldn't we replace Enzo with Reagan Fox from Big Brother 12?
Oh, fuck yes.
I mean, he was good at the game too. I
Reagan
didn't
did go
realize
off.
as much until I rewatched Big Brother 12. But Reagan was so good, especially him and Rachel. Those fights are iconic. But I love Kevin Campbell. I think he is going to fly under the radar just like he did in Big Brother 11. He was the last unnominated person. Wouldn't be shocked if he was the last unnominated person in this cast. That or he's going to get targeted first because no one knows who the fuck Kevin Campbell is. One of the two is going to happen.
I want to say that Kevin Campbell being rumored does scare me because he's probably one of the least confirmed, quote unquote, males of the season.
Yes.
However, Kevin played the best game of Big Brother 11. I don't care what you say. He played the best game of that season. And he literally...
Kevin was beating everybody if he got to the
He
end.
low-key caused all the drama and then sat back and watched it. So, I mean, I really, really enjoy Kevin as a player.
He got
and-
one fight with Ronnie, of all people.
Yeah, I mean,
No, for some reason with Kevin, I kind of I pick up, for some reason when I look at casters, I kind of pick up, who I think will work with who. And for some reason, I kind of feel him and David are going to be some kind of, just based on what I'm hearing of, because I haven't watched Big Brother 11, but based on what I've heard of Kevin and then seeing David, to me, it seems like, I think if they came together, imagine what could happen with that.
Does anyone else have anything to say about Kevin Campbell?
I
Even
could
though
actually,
Brother 11, I'm excited to see him.
I could see him and Keisha getting together.
Oh, 100. I can see
Yeah.
that.
I'm just happy they have someone again from that middle area between like 15, I'm gonna say is like 14, 15, somewhere in that like cutoff area right before they went to high definition. I just want to see people within there because that like what I'm gonna call generation 2, that really hasn't been picked up on, and I just want to keep seeing that be expanded.
I say 15 and after is kind of like what we're in now type deal.
Yeah.
That's that type of generation.
No.
Maybe 16.
I say 17 on is Gen 3. I say 10 to 16. I think 16 cap Gen 2.
Why 16?
I don't think 16 did. I think 14 did because 15
Oof,
kind of.
no. I
15
think
kind of just like the twist and especially 16. I think 16 like had old.
I'd say 15, but
I could say 16 started Gen 3.
either way.
Because I think they like the twists and like the cast started to get so shit show that they needed to reset.
Mm-hmm.
15 being such a shit show, which is why I think like this season will be like Gen 4, I feel, because 21 was such a shit. Or like no, I think 22 is gonna finish whatever era we're on of Big Brother.
All right, well, I've got to go pretty quickly, so I'm going to get to these last two mails so we can wrap this up pretty quickly. Next up, we have Memphis Garrett from Big Brother 10. I'm not, like, super, super opposed to it, but, like, could we, is this really what we're getting down to? Like, we had to go so low in the phone book that we got to Memphis and Enzo. Like, I see more than Enzo, to be fair. Don't get me wrong. I think Memphis played a competent game of Big Brother. I mean, he made it to the final, too. Granted, Enzo made it to the final 3 without doing shit. But, I don't know. There's so many other people that I see this spot going to, and Memphis is not one of them. But he's from that little generation thing, which is nice to see. But I'm not excited for him either. Like, I don't know what y'all's opinions on Memphis are. I had zero opinion on him in Big Brother 10. I thought he was probably the most boring person in the house. And I guess he's here. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Listen, I'm just excited to see anybody from Big Brother 10. So I'll take it. I guess.
Kind of how I am.
Yeah, I'd say Big Brother 10 is probably my favorite season. It's pretty close between Big Brother 10, 8, and 6. I think all three are pretty close for me. But I think 10 does cap that. And I'm genuinely excited to see anybody come back from 10, even though I don't think Memphis should have been one of the higher up choices. But
You'd be Jerry McDonald. I'm sorry. Like,
Once again,
So we can scream at people.
that's
Mhm.
more entertaining than anything Memphis ever did in the house.
Where's Rennie at? I want Rennie.
Me too. Others' opinions on Memphis Garrett.
I never saw Big Brother 10, but I hear so much about it, and it's something when there's somebody I don't hear about at all, and it's this guy here. So Have to see what happens with that, but we'll see what happens with
He was
that.
the runner-up, if you didn't know.
He was the first unanimous loser.
Yeah. That says anything.
That's a title.
Grant,
Well,
I mean, to be fair, he was up against Dan Giesling. Let's
yeah, that's also a good point. You don't just casually go up against Dan Giesling and get any votes.
exactly. Like, I mean, I don't think Memphis was a bad game player. People liked him, and he had some good connections and was able to keep Dan safe with like one or two people that he had pretty good connections with. I know he didn't have a good relationship with Jerry McDonald because Jerry was calling him a misogynist and stuff like that, but whole nother topic of issue, I guess. There's other people that deserve the spot, I think. We've gone over it. Johnny Mack, Johnny Thompson, Eric Stein, Matt Hoffman, and other people I can name off. Andy Aaron. Any last thoughts on Memphis before we head to the last one of this rumored list?
Can't say I do.
All right, well, let's move on to the last person that is rumored for this. Tyler Crispin.
Ramen noodles.
And with that completes the podcast.
That's all we need. That's all we need. But
I always gotta say ramen noodles now because his hair. Look at his hair.
Okay,
so if we're gonna get someone who represents the lifeguard basic white boy trope,
David
like
Burton.
classic California.
David Burton or Braden Baca.
Oh no.
I think the stereotype of like Cody, Tyler, Memphis is like kind of tired and done with. I feel like they all fit the same category of Big Brother
Cody
guy. The category is bland, boring white guy that makes it pretty far in Big Brother and can't win at the end because he has nothing to his name. I feel like that fits all three of those people very fittingly. Tyler, Cody.
a little bit better than the other two.
I don't know. I think Tyler played a really good game. He just pissed people off in the jury. I think he played a better game than Casey, to me.
He played fine. I don't think he.
I mean,
A better game than Furniture.
I'm always going to stand Casey just because we're both queer and have the same birthday. But other than that,
never mind. I almost said something rude.
Oh, you have all the reasons to drag me in the world, and these people have not found out why yet. But they'll find out.
I mean,
I'm scared when they find out.
You both in games that you play are basically furniture, so I understand why you guys would be why you would stand her.
All right, moving on. Tyler Crispin. In recent Big Brother days, he probably is one of the better players, I guess.
Literally the CBS Big Brother, the modern CBS Big Brother prototype to me.
But I think him being like the modern decent Big Brother player is going to work against him because I think he'll be the first male targeted.
It does, to be honest with you.
He's going to be the first male to go.
I'm calling it. He's first boot.
I've got a problem with him about how he handles his fans because he cannot, like, I'm not saying that you are solely responsible for what your fans do, but when you encourage your fans to attack other podcasters and stuff like that, like, he wanted them to attack RHAP, like, big time. Why? Because Brent called Angela bland. Was he right? Hell yes. Like, I mean, there's worse things in the world than getting, maybe if, like, you know, he said something, like, super, like, wrong or off. But, like, I don't know.
Another
I
thing I
don't
want
know
to
about
point
that.
out, speaking of Angela, there was when going back to the Big Brother quotes, the quote one of the quotes they released earlier. The first time I was on Big Brother, I was majorly distracted by a showmance. People are like, oh, Bailey, Bailey, Bailey. But I come to think about it, I'm like, well, Swaggy was not in the house long enough for it to be Bailey. I think that was Tyler who said that. Because I remember him in a video or something that I watched one time, and he said I think he got very distracted. That's kind of what happened to his game a little bit to me. I think he started getting really distracted by Angela.
I think it's talking about Lydia Tavera with Mr. Spectacular.
Oh my god.
But I think that the showmance, I think that was, and it sounds that's something I think that was him.
Okay.
That said the
Well,
showmance.
I
comment.
just really hope that we don't get another freaking dude bro alliance because
I hope he goes.
I'm sick of that.
I'm with you there. Like, I mean, maybe if they're likable, like that'd be one thing, but like just not those three. I'm thinking Memphis, Enzo, him, and kind of Cody too, and mixing that. Cody's better, the four of them in my opinion, probably followed by Tyler, then Memphis, and then Enzo. Sorry, I just don't really like Enzo, but
I think that I like I keep saying, I think Tyler's I predict him or Cody's gonna be first boot.
I hope it's him. I think I'd rather see Cody. I don't know.
We got a lot of that's the thing. I feel another thing like even though Cody was bland, I think Tyler kind of has a more completed story arc than Cody does.
I agree. Anyways, so I do want to transition over. I want to give everyone a chance to talk about, I'm going to say, two people. They can both be male, they can both be female, they can be one of each, whatever you want, that we haven't talked about, and we'll all get a chance to just talk about them. Two people. Whoever wants to go first can go first. Preferably someone we haven't already talked about, though. I mean, I'm probably going to break that rule with one of mine because I'm really, really for it. So, I don't know. So if someone wants to go ahead and talk.
Wait, you mean like two people who we believe should be on, or like who
Should
could be?
be on, and maybe, if you've heard them, that probably gives all the more credibility to say their name. So, just two people that you think should be on for Big Brother All-Stars.
Ooh, let me think
No
about this.
one else wants to start, and y'all want to think. I can go ahead and say my first one if y'all want.
Yeah, go ahead. I need to think of my people.
I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. Johnny Mac should be here. I mean, do y'all agree with me on this? Like,
Yeah.
You say that like it's a question.
I mean, like, I don't know. He was great TV, great feeds, and he was a good game player. He was a really good game player, was what people don't understand about him. He was so social. Everyone loved Johnny Mac. No one wanted to take him out. It hurt Vanessa to take him out. Also, there's a good compilation on YouTube of him and Vanessa's relationship throughout the entire season. It's one of the best things ever. They're two of my favorite house guests. Like, it's just wholesome. And he himself is a wholesome person. He's not controversial. He should be on this season. And the fact that he's not and Enzo pisses me off big time.
One of the people that I don't think gets talked about too much, and maybe it's because I'm just following him on Twitter, and as such, I'm kind of just addicted to everything that he is. But Kevin from, the older Kevin.
From Big Brother 19.
There we go.
Kevin
I just personally love his personality, how he comes off as almost like this weird mobster with a heart of gold. I don't know why I get that personality.
Okay, so, like, he was one of the most tolerable Big Brother 19 house guests, sure, but All-Star.
I just like him.
I like him. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's bad, and I feel bad for what Swaggy and Bailey did to his cancer charity.
If they wanted a rep from 19, they should have put Kevin on over fucking Valentine's Day. I'm sorry, but they should have.
over Christmas. Like, I'd rather have Kevin there.
I
But
can't wait to call her other holidays besides that this season, like I did in 19.
he, yeah, I'd rather see Donnie for like an old guy type.
Mm-hmm.
But
Dang, Donnie was gonna be one of
Donnie,
my.
Donnie was good at like the game. He could read a room. Kevin could not
He
read a
knew
room.
Derek was fucking like
Yeah, Donnie was on to Derek. He couldn't do anything about it, but
because the rest of the house was stupid as fuck.
he was on to him at the very least.
I just want to say, I also think that one person that does not get enough credit for being the mastermind that they were, Raven Wall. No, I'm kidding.
Bitch.
I'm totally
No.
kidding. I do think that if we're talking about all-star material, Victor from BB18, I would like to see him back.
Oh, but I don't think they'll put him on if they have his fiance on here.
Oh no,
I'd
no.
rather him than Nicole Krenzel.
I would rather have him than
And
Nicole.
also, they could use once again the challenge connection because he did play one season of the challenge.
Yeah.
Who with?
He's only played one season of the challenge because he was boring as shit.
Did he play any like with any Big
He-
Brother contestants?
He played
Uh,
Natalie,
he
and it was a
he
big
was Natalie's vendetta, I believe,
yeah,
What do you mean?
because of Big Brother 18.
yeah.
What do you mean vendetta? Was that like a twist or something?
The
Yeah.
theme of the season was vendettas.
It was
Like-
basically people who hated each other. They both, it was like a duo thing, and they both were on the cast together. And Victor and Natalie, because they didn't have a liking for each other, and were casted together because of 18.
Okay, I don't understand the challenge format, so I was kind of confused. I've never
It-
watched it.
I forgot vendettas myself, but
Anyone have somebody they want to bring up? Victor. I didn't talk about Victor.
So the one other female that I did want to bring up, not even as a joke, just to like watch another train wreck happen, is the mastermind herself, Raven, just to see what the fuck would happen this season. I just want to see a train wreck because y'all know I love that. Just like I want to see what happens. And if she managed to pull some bullshit game moves out of nowhere, I would like to see it.
I have a GPA in dance.
Okay, Jack, you've said
Somebody literally purchased a cameo from her, asking her to wish Keisha a happy birthday
I saw.
on August 1st.
Uh-huh.
If she was as big of a Big Brother fan as she claims to be, she would have known that was Keisha from BB10.
Yup, she would have known it. She would have known it. I 100% agree. Anyone else have somebody that they want to mention? What kind of
I
thing?
was okay. Vanessa was brought up. I'm trying to think of other people who haven't who have not been brought up, who I believe deserve another chance. I really can't think of other. Oh, I fucking wish Danielle Reyes was here. I
Came back.
just a queen.
Yeah.
Bring
Bring who?
Shima.
Oh, not she. CBS is not gonna bring her back. CBS is like, nope.
Shima
Not
is
today.
such good TV.
I didn't really care for Shima, honestly. I don't know. I don't like
CBS
people
is
that
not
break,
gonna.
I don't
let
like
that-
people that break rules, I guess. That's just like a thing with me. Like when it comes to like Big Brother. Not like in real life, I'm all for it. I'm all for breaking the rules. But like just when it comes to Big Brother, I don't know. I just don't like people that break rules. She broke so many.
That was the day the mics probably became waterproof.
Yeah, definitely.
Can I bring up? Oh, sorry. Were you going to mention somebody, Grace?
No, I can't think of other. Who are you gonna bring up?
If we're going to talk about people who have something to prove, I know you said two people only, but I kind of want to lump these two together. Because they both went early jury. Obviously, both these people made mistakes. Okay, I'm going to say that before I mention them.
You're gonna say,
Oh no.
I'm pretty sure we all know that I am a huge Rockstar stan. Also, I'm gonna also clump Shelley Poole in there because both of them made mistakes.
Oh my god.
Another one that needs to be on this cast because apparently she was rude.
Shelley Poole, I really, really love Shelley Poole, and I do think she's all-star worthy because I think she did a decent amount in that season and made her voice known throughout the season. Rockstar, entertainment-wise, TV gold, honestly. And her main mistake in the game was obviously telling Tyler about the OTEV thing. Like,
Yeah.
imagine Rockstar winning OTEV over all these physical people. Like,
Yeah.
She was there. And then
On my daughter's birthday, you are sick. And then also when she grabbed the pots and pans, bread.
On my daughter's birthday is the new generation's Keisha's birthday.
it is.
It is. One that I'm going to mention, and this might seem kind of odd, and we already got this casting stereotype in the male pool that's already been said, but this is one of my favorite seasons. 17 is one of my favorite seasons, and Steve Moses, I think, does not get enough credit for his win, especially when compared to Liz. Now, don't get me wrong, Vanessa deserved the win that season. Totally, 110%. But Steve's the one that took her out, and I think Steve played
the problem with him, he's too overshadowed by Vanessa.
Yeah, but once again, we're talking about people who want to prove themselves. If he wants to prove himself, let him play without Vanessa and let him see how far he can get.
I also want to see him back just because he is such a prominent member of our community as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just like in general orgs, he's done a lot of stuff for Sequester. He's done stuff for Totem Pole. He's done stuff in general for orgs. So, I mean, if we want to rep,
he's the definition of a super fan that's been on Big Brother and done well. Like he won. I mean, he won, guys. Like, if y'all wanted winners back, why not Steve? Like,
also Miss Audrey Middleton. That would have been nice.
I mean, Audrey too, but I mean, we're talking about people that like came in and played good games.
Audrey was thinking on her head when she was getting
love Audrey, but
really quick, mentioning Shelley Poole's name made me think of Shelley Moore, which I think Shelley Moore actually played a really good game during BB13.
I think she's really hated on so much just because she turned to Erica's sweetheart couple, but that was smart for her to do because
I thought of somebody.
Are you about to say who I'm about to say, Nick?
Kalia motherfucking Booker deserves.
I was about to say her too. Yep.
Kalia played one of the most incredible games I've ever seen, especially against two duos when the only two people that she actually had were dumbass Portia and Danielle Donato. I think she played a phenomenal game, and she was robbed because they knew that Kalia could beat anybody at the end.
Definitely.
Oh, Kalia mother.
Great.
I love her.
Yeah. I can't believe she slipped my mind, but yeah, another great player. Really quickly, is there anybody else you guys want to mention? Because otherwise, I'm gonna kind of wrap this up and kind of explain how the podcast is gonna work for those that are actually still watching us.
I got all my people. I got all my people through.
All right. Well, if no one else has anything to say, first off, I want to thank all of our viewers for watching this. We really appreciate this. The Power of Podcast is going to be coming at you 2 times a week. Hopefully, with all of us here, someone may have to watch, or I said watch. Someone may have to skip an episode or whatever, and we'll be bringing in guests throughout the season. I'm not connected at all, but maybe somebody else is. We might be able to pull in somebody.
We'll probably get guests.
We got the power. We can do this. We got the power. We got the power.
We'll be able to bring in guests, not actual. Maybe not at first. Maybe not actual contestants, but some people that you might know if you follow some orgs. That might be some more fun to
Yeah.
start with.
Or if you follow certain shows called Totem Pole.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can bring in like half the cast.
But we're going to hopefully be coming at you guys 2 times a week. Usually, we're not going to do this for premiere night, but premiere night's on a Wednesday, but we're going to do Thursday live evictions. At least what we've got so far. More than likely, we're going to be doing Thursday night live evictions. Immediately after, we will do an episode, and then Saturday or Sunday, depending on what's best for people in the podcast this week, or that week, I should say. We will come at you with a second podcast, and it is going to be, that one will be more live feed spoilers, and we'll talk about live feed spoilers on the Thursday night eviction episodes. Note that's only for eviction episodes, not for if there's an episode Thursday, which I don't even think there is, but
No, I don't think, because they're doing the live move-in, and that's like a 2-hour thing tomorrow.
You're
And then
not
they're doing competition.
and we're not gonna.
I
do want to
I
talk
just
about that.
wanna-
What do we think this live move-in competition is?
I hope it's an HOH, and I
We
hope
think
it's
it's live
just an HOH, because we don't need any other shit. We don't need a
I hope it's
first night eviction. We don't need
Oh,
a
if it's
fucking
a first
redemption
time
house.
eviction, I'm canceling this season.
If they have a first night eviction, they're gonna have a ton of people that I feel like they're gonna have a ton of people that come for them, because that is just wrong.
That's stupid,
You know,
especially
like-
with all
like,
return back.
Especially because they're bringing someone back because of a first night eviction. Like, that is the reason David's back. If they then evict someone else in a first night, it's
And
like,
it ends up being David.
what did you learn? What did you learn?
And remember all these
We
people
love David
went
being the
through-
Francesca.
Remember what all these people went through just to get there.
Mhm.
Oh my God,
COVID
that kind of
test.
reminds me. If they're gonna bring people back first boot, kind of like what they did with David, where the fuck is Cameron?
Or Jody or
mean-
Cameron. I don't know.
These
But-
people went through like COVID tests every other day. So if they did and they left their families during a pandemic, if they literally did a day one eviction, that'd be so wrong.
That'd be so wrong. And
I don't think, especially with the coronavirus being as whatever, I don't see them doing the day one.
I don't
Oh,
think.
can I,
Here,
but
can I bring up one more thing real quick before we
go ahead.
sorry.
You're good.
Do you guys think that due to the pandemic, they're gonna have a camp comeback type situation again this year?
No. They're not
No.
gonna have, I don't think especially for all, I don't see them doing a battle back or any kind of thing. I don't see it at all. I honestly feel this season, especially with the pandemic, and they're gonna probably want to get things done. I think that they're just, once you're out, you're gone. You're gone.
If they're sticking to their old All Stars format, which they have said that they're going to try and do, from what I've gathered, or like that's what they think that they're going to do, they're just going to let it be. They're just going to let the cast go. This cast is good enough, even with the crappy males. The females in this cast are good enough for you to just let them be and let them play. HOH,
Mhm.
2 nominees, veto, eviction.
I don't think
I'm not
like
totally against twist or anything. And if there's a small one that doesn't really affect the game that much, then sure, I'm here.
Okay, I'm gonna shut that down right there. It's Modern Big Brother. They're gonna have some sort of large twist because they always do.
I think it has something to do with that key bedroom, because you see in between the beds, there's this big green.
Oh,
thing.
somebody said that. I saw a tweet or something on it that there's like a secret room or something behind.
There definitely is.
It
There
looks like a secret
definitely
room for
is.
sure.
We'll see.
Like, if you look at the picture, there is one obvious fucking panel, and it's either that or the photo bedroom, because the
Somebody-
photo
Well,
bedroom
the
has
picture
the
bedroom,
exact
I
same
was
thing.
thinking the picture bedroom could be a secret, either that or the key one.
Somebody else. Amanda from Big Brother 15.
They're not. I don't think they would bring her. Like, she
Now-
was a game player, but they're not. She was so controversial. That,
Actually, I watched Rob has a podcast, and they had a girl on there who was like from some magazine or whatever, and she had connections with people inside of Big Brother. She said that Amanda Zuckerman was asked.
Oh,
Said that they
Oh.
asked Amanda, and she declined. Amanda declined. Um,
wow.
but allegedly, Amanda was actually asked. Apparently they asked a lot of people. Like they went around it
Yeah.
a lot. Like
If I remember correctly, I think Julie said they asked like two casts worth of people. Like they asked 32 people and they quarantined at least 32 people. Like, because they just, if an entire cast tested positive for COVID,
they got
it happened in the
this
cast.
season,
Mhm.
replacements were more important than ever because of COVID.
Yeah.
And with that being said, we're gonna close out this podcast. It's been 2 hours and 45 minutes. Well, actually not quite, but like it's been like 2.5
2
hours.
hours. Uh,
I just have to say, even though COVID's like really, I have to say I'm really excited that we're even though like this was originally supposed to be all newbies, but because of the circumstances in the world right now, I'm very pumped that we're getting all returnees.
I'm happy with it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
It's
either
about time we got one. The last all returnee was season 7, and I'm glad they're finally coming together and doing another one.
All right,
mhm.
with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, make sure you hit this like button. Make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload by the Disney Nerd or by the Power of Podcast. We'll be coming at you probably the next episode will be Saturday or Sunday, one of the two, where we will have some live feed leaks, hopefully, maybe some gameplay going on. If no gameplay is going on, then we'll probably just
Oh, I just want to say, apparently, I want to bring this up too. The feeds are supposed to, after the premiere on Wednesday, the feeds are supposed to be starting at 2:30 a.m. Eastern, 11:30 p.m. Pacific.
cool. Awesome.
And also, if we can figure it out, this might be on Spotify. This might be on
Oh,
Apple
look at the-
Podcasts.
And if
We'll figure that out. We are a mess. Just as general people, that might also just be me because, I mean, look at me. But
we're using
we're,
Zoom,
we're gonna figure that out.
hopefully we'll be able to upgrade soon. But thank you guys for watching and stay safe during the pandemic. We know it's rough times. And Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Yes.